Today we're doing the all-time classic spaghetti bolognese. Right, let's have a look at our ingredients. I've got 500 grams good quality minced beef. I've got 6 rashers of smoked streaky bacon, which I've cut up. I've got some fresh basil. I've got 2 tins of plum tomatoes. I've got about 50 grams of grated Parmesan cheese. I've got 10 lovely Aromatico cherry tomatoes. I've got about 150 ml of red wine, drinkable red wine, 500 grams of spaghetti, 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. I've got 2 or 3 sprigs of rosemary, fresh rosemary, which has been chopped up finely, so that's about a tablespoon. I've got a tablespoon of dried oregano, teaspoon of ground black pepper. I've got about a tablespoon of sugar. I've got 2 beef stock pots. And I've got 2 medium-sized white onions, which I've diced up. Also, I've got some carrot, celery, and garlic. That's about 4 cloves of garlic, 3 medium carrots, and 3 or 4 sticks of celery. You want an even amount, roughly, of celery and carrot. I didn't chop these by hand because it takes quite a while, so I cheated today and I blitzed them up in that. It just saves a lot of time. I've also got some olive oil and some extra virgin olive oil and a little bit of sea salt. So there's our ingredients. Let's start cooking. Right, we're going to start with the onions. I'm going to get heat under those. We're going with some olive oil, about a tablespoon. And at the same time, I've put my bacon, my streaky bacon in there. I'll put heat under that. Just a little touch of olive oil to get it going, not too much because you've got the fat coming out of the bacon. So we're going to fry these off. Onions about 10 minutes. You don't want to brown them, you just want to soften them, transparent a little bit. The bacon, yep, 5 to 10 minutes until it starts to brown. And then we'll carry on after that. Now, our onions have been sweating down for about 10 minutes on a medium to low heat. They're just about ready. Our bacon, that's been frying off for about 10 minutes as well. Starting to go foamy and bubbly, you can see that's done. And now, I'm going to add my garlic into that pot. We'll start to fry off that garlic. And as that just starts to sizzle away, I'm going to put my onions in there. Let's get all those onions in there. Right, I'm going to mix that all together. So that is our bacon, onion and garlic. It's on a sort of medium to low heat at the moment. I'm going to give that 2 minutes, medium to low, then I'm going to add our celery and carrots. Now, that's been cooking for a couple of minutes. I'm going to go straight in with my carrot and celery. Those lovely colours. Well, that's going straight in. And also our chopped rosemary and our dried oregano. Now, I'm going to give that a good mix. So sort of medium to low heat. At this point you could add a little drizzle of olive oil. Now, we want to cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes just to soften up those vegetables. You want to soften up the carrots and the celery. Now that smells really good now. The herbs, the bacon, the onion, that does smell good. So medium to low heat just to soften up the vegetables. And in the meantime, I'm going to start frying off the beef. Okay, we've got our frying pan heated up there. I'm going with a little bit of olive oil. Then I'm going in with my minced beef. So we'll turn the heat full up. I'm going to break this all up. I'm going to fry this for about 10 minutes. If you get some liquid coming out of it, just keep frying it until the liquid's absorbed and it starts to brown. You want to get a little bit of colour on it before we add it to the rest of our ingredients. Okay, so our minced beef has been cooking for about 10 minutes, frying off at quite a high heat. As you can see, there's no water in there. We've got some colour on the mince, so that is just perfect. Our vegetables and bacon have been cooking for about 15 minutes on a low heat. What we're going to do now, we're going to add our mince into there, and also our red wine is going straight in there as well. Now, what we're going to do, turn it up a little bit, medium heat. We're going to mix all these ingredients together and we're going to cook this for another 10 minutes on a medium heat. You want the wine to absorb into the other ingredients, to the vegetables and the meat. Let all that wine absorb, and then we'll start adding our tomatoes and other ingredients. Right, that's been cooking for about 10 minutes. As you can see, it's pretty dry. All that wine has absorbed in. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a little well in the middle, and I'm going to put my tomato puree right in the middle there, because I like to fry it off a little bit. Turn the heat up and just fry off that tomato puree in the middle for about 2 or 3 minutes. Otherwise it can be a little bit bitter, so it's always best to just fry it off. So I'm just going to fry that off for a couple of minutes. Okay, right, I've mixed in that tomato puree. I've fried off for a couple of minutes. That's all mixed in with our meat and vegetables and onions and everything. I'm now going to drop a couple of beef stock pots, the jelly kind. I find those to be the best. They're going straight in. Give them a little mix up. I'm going straight in with our cherry tomatoes and any juice that's in there. Give that a little mix. At this point you want to turn the heat up to about medium. All these tomatoes will break down because it's got a bit of cooking time to go yet. And now our 2 tins of plum tomatoes. Now I buy the whole plum tomatoes in a tin and I break them up myself. I just put them in a saucepan and use a potato masher. You can buy chopped tomatoes. I just prefer the plum tomatoes and break them up myself. So they've gone in. We're on a medium heat. And you want to mix all that together. It's starting to look the part. And then you want to go in with your tablespoon of sugar. That's to counterbalance the acidity in the tomatoes. Just takes it off a little bit. It definitely helps. And our black pepper, that's a tablespoon of ground black pepper. A couple of little pinches of salt, not too much. And our Parmesan cheese. That's about 50 grams of grated Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm going to give that a good old mix. And what we're going to do then, once it's heated up and it's starting to bubble, you want to turn the heat right down. Now this is going to cook now on a low heat for about an hour to an hour and a half, because it's nowhere near the part as it is now. This has all got to cook down and it's going to become richer and softer, and all these vegetables and tomatoes, they're going to just all blend into everything. So we're just going to simmer that now on a low heat. Our sauce has now been cooking for about half an hour. As you can see, it's bubbling away slightly. It's on a low heat. It's changed colour. a little bit, starting to reduce down, getting richer and richer. This is going to need another hour, just like this. But most importantly, give it a stir every couple of minutes. I know it's a bit of a pain, but you do not want this to burn or stick to the bottom. So it's very important. Don't let the sauce stick. Just give it a little stir every few minutes. Another hour for that. So it gives you time to wash up your bits and bobs, have a beer or a glass of wine. I'll see you soon. Now, our sauce has been simmering away gently for just over an hour and a half. As you can see, all the tomatoes have broken up and everything's blended together and it looks just lovely and it smells really nice. Now I'm going to start my spaghetti. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move that over to the back burner there. I'm still going to keep a very low heat underneath it. I'll get my large saucepan out. And I've got a kettle full of boiling water here. I'll go straight in with that. Plenty of water. That's that. For that, I'm going to add a little drizzle of olive oil. I find it helps to stop the spaghetti sticking together. Now, a couple of good old pinches of sea salt in there. Right, now I'm going to bring it up to the boil and then add my spaghetti. Okay, our water is now boiling. I'm going to add the spaghetti. I'm going to let that sink down and I'm going to simmer my spaghetti for about 10 minutes. I don't like it too firm, I don't like it too soft, but I'm going to bring that back up to the boil and turn it down and get a gentle simmer for about 10 minutes. In the meantime, I've got some extra virgin olive oil and I'm going to put a nice glug of that, about a couple of tablespoons full in there, just to add some silkiness, richness, and that nice olive oil flavour to our sauce. Remember, there's still a little flame underneath that. So extra virgin olive oil, a couple of tablespoons, straight in there. And we're just going to wait till the spaghetti cooks down and simmer it for about 10 minutes. Right, our spaghetti has been bubbling away just like that for about 10 minutes. And I've just tried it and that's done to my satisfaction. You can always take a bit out, try it, see if it's done to your liking. Some people like it al dente. This is just a little bit past al dente. I'm now going to drain this off. So, straight into my colander. Now I'm going to leave that in there for a minute. Let some of that starchy water go back into my saucepan because I need some of that. Okay, right. I'm now going to take some of this starchy water from the spaghetti. I'm going to add it to my sauce. Now this helps to loosen up the sauce a little bit, but it also helps the sauce cling to the spaghetti even better. It clings to the pasta. So now look at that. So I'm just going to mix that in. Now I'm going to turn the heat completely off. So there's no heat under this now. And that's when I go in with my freshly chopped basil. That's fresh basil, not dried basil. I'm going to stir that in. Now this is ready to plate up. And there we have it. A beautiful spaghetti bolognese. I'm going to grate some fresh Parmesan over that. And last but not least, I'm serving this with a nice Italian Montepulciano d'Abruzzo red wine. Perfect. Look at that. Don't forget to subscribe.